Yesterday, in a conversation with several sports analysts, the question was asked, can anyone, in the entire world, presently beat Kishane Thompson? And I think, having crunched the numbers, I have an absolutely 100% correct answer. Let's discuss. Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for making it Peter Lloyd World. Go ahead, please hit the subscribe button so we can continue to grow. When you do that, hit the notification bell so you know when the next video drops. We drop videos once a day here in Peter Lloyd World. Also, if you enjoy the content, please hit the like button and finally leave your thoughts. So, ready? Yep. Good to go. Well, he is now the fastest man in the world for the 2024 season so far. The remarkable Kishane Thompson, who we call the mythical creature. The young man who, after running, I think, approximately in the last 12 months, 3 or 4 races, ran an incredible world-leading time to take the lead from the equally remarkably talented Seville in the men's 100-meter finals at the Jamaican National Championships, setting the entire world, not just the national stadium in Jamaica, ablaze. He won in a time of 9.77, a new world lead in that event. And what was terrifying is that he looked as if he was running 60% of what he's capable of. So we're going to crunch the numbers and give you an answer to the question that several people have asked me. Can anyone on earth at this point that we know of beat Kishane Thompson? Now let me just say this very, very quickly to my brothers and sisters in Jamaica and across the Caribbean. We're being threatened by a Category 5 at this point hurricane called Hurricane Beryl. Please take this very seriously. I spoke with a gentleman at the market earlier today who told me that it's not coming. This hurricane is coming, people. And it's going to make landfall on the east of the island and leave on the west of the island. So we really need to take this seriously. So let's get back to this video. And above all, please remain safe. Protect yourselves, protect your families. Okay? Love you all. Hold on. Kishane Thompson won the finals in a time of 9.77 seconds. Seville ran 9.82 to take second. King ran 9.92.
This is the 100-meter finals.
They've asked about the future of Jamaican sprinting, and the men's side, it's ripe and healthy. 4 men under 23 years old in this final.
Fireworks in the making once again. You can feel the level of anticipation gripping this contest. Men's 100-meter final. Set. Up. Seville and Thompson got away like rockets. Seville looks imperious. Thompson looks imperious and commanding as well. Kishane Thompson steps to the floor and gets there. 9.73. Oh, goodness gracious me. It's a new stadium record. New world leading. Absolutely stunning. 9.77 the official time.
Now the Americans, Noah Lyles, the Americans going to Paris, Kenny Benerick, who I think looks the best of the three, to be very frank with you, and Fred Curley laid down very impressive times themselves in the men's 100-meter finals at the USA National Championships 2024. Noah Lyles equaled his personal best in the men's 100 meters to win this event, a time of 9.83, which he won last year in the finals of World Championships. Kenny Benerick ran a new personal best of 9.87 to take second, and Fred Curley ran 9.88, a season's best, to take the third spot. Note these numbers. We're going to get back to them.
He's won another national championship.
Prior to Kishane Thompson, the world leader was Ferdinand Omanyala of Kenya. He ran a very impressive 9.79 seconds recently.
And off we go and straight away Ferdinand Omanyala just gets off the block nicely. It is Ferdinand Omanyala and 9.80. improves on his time.
Now, in a recent nationwide interview, when asked how fast Stephen Francis, meaning the great Stephen Francis, thought Kishane Thompson could run, this was Stephen Francis's answer.
I saw him doing the final. I think if he had maintained that burst of speed he had between 40 and 60, out to the line, he probably would have run 9.6, 9 or thereabouts, 9.70.
So Stephen Francis, who is a coach who's not known for hyperbole, in fact, he tends to understate the fitness and the level of fitness of his athletes. He tends to understate that. He believed that had Kishane Thompson really pressed in the finals, where he ran at 9.77, he could have actually ran a 9.69 seconds, a time that we have not seen anyone run in the world for the last 80 years. No one has run anything close to that. Now, when pressed by Loop in the post-race interview, big up to Loop and the team, this is what Kishane Thompson said himself.
The preparation for tonight must have been intense. You completely demolished the track. Do you think that you achieved what you set out for tonight in terms of your timing and your form?
Take away the time. The time wasn't the aim. My aim was always to execute. My first couple of seasons, even though I've always suffered from injuries, I really struggled with execution, even though I had raw speed and talent. But I wasn't patient enough. I wasn't patient enough with my talent and speed. I believe at one point I was supposed to go like faster and faster from 0 to 100, but you can only do so much in 100 meter. The next half or like quarter of the race is like maintenance. But in terms of me executing what my coach said, yes, I did a fair enough job. I think that will always keep me humble and be driven for more.
And moving forward to Paris, based on tonight's experience, what will you be working on for the Olympics?
Technically, I'll be working on everything. I always can better my best. If someone said that, hey, he has a good transition, or hey, he has a good reaction, always can better it.
So can anyone on the planet that we know of at this point beat Kishane Thompson 100 meters? Let's first talk about Ferdinand Omanyala. Omanyala ran this insane 9.79 in a place where the altitude is really high. It's well known scientifically that in altitude high tracks, you tend to run faster. And the fact of the matter is, we've seen Omanyala run this very impressive. Last year ran 9.78, but he's never been able to reproduce that at average altitude on a normal track. So I'm not saying he's incapable of running a 9.79 or 78, but I think it's unlikely because we have not seen him translate what he can do at altitude, at regular altitude, at high altitude, to regular. Now, let's talk about the other threats. The USA athletes are very talented people, but the one I'm most concerned about in 100 meters is actually Kenny Benrick, because he seems to be improving at astronomical rates. I am not sure how much faster than 9.83 Noah Lyles can actually run. I'm not saying he's incapable of doing it, because he's a very, very talented sprinter. But I'm more concerned about Kenny Benrick. But can Kenny Benrick run a sub 9.80? I don't think so. Not at this point. We've not seen any indication that he can. So I am not sure if he's capable of doing that within the next month, because he'll have to do it in the next month. We saw him flat out run a PB of 9.87, if my memory serves me correctly. And we saw Noah Lyles flat out equal his PB of 9.83, and he was being pressed by Kenny Benrick. It wasn't an easy victory for him. Now, maybe if he improves his start, etc., he can shave off, I don't know, maybe 2/10 of a second off, so he could run a 9.80 but that's still a far cry from a 9.77. And the faster you go, the harder it gets to run at those speeds. There's a reason why we have not seen many persons run this time. You have to remember that, and this of course is my 2 cents. I don't even know if I remember saying that earlier. When Asafa probably broke the world record a few years ago, it was 9.77. This is a crazy time. So let's look at this. If you go back and you look at the race, it is very evident to me that by 60 meters, the young man shut down. He shut down. It was momentum that carried him through. He kept his form and he ran through. In the semifinals, he was looking all over the place. He was speeding up and slowing down. I'd never seen anybody do that in a race. It was terrifying. So the question becomes, who can challenge him? I think there's only one person, and I don't even think that person can beat him. You know who that person is? Oblique Seville, his countryman. I can't think of anybody else at this point. So break this down. The world champion's max seems to be somewhere around 9.83. Maybe let's give him a 9.80. I do not think he can run much faster than that. No one else in the world that we know of in several years, the last person to run a sub 9.80. Well, Marcel Jacobs in 2021 ran 9.80 to win the Olympic Games, and that's a crazy time. But as for a mid 9.77, Fred Curley, he's done it 3 times. But he doesn't seem to be at his best. At his best, I would be concerned about him. I'm concerned about Kenny Benerick because he's improving at an astronomical pace. So I don't think that 9.87 is his best. I don't think it's close. I think he is actually faster than Noah Lyles. And I'm nothing against Noah Lyles. I'm just talking about crunching the numbers. I think Oblique Seville has sub 9.8 in his legs, because I don't think he was flat out either. I mean, they ran, but I'm saying I still think there was more in the gas tank. But what Kishane Thompson did in the finals of the men's 100 meters at the Jamaican National Championships 2024, there is no athlete on earth sprint over the 100 meters who saw that and didn't panic. We have to be honest. Who is running those times? No one. There's no one we know of outside of Fred Curley, 2 years ago, who ran a 9.75 or 9.76. And this young man can run, I think, a sub 9.70. Heck, forget what I say. Who am I? Just some fan of track and field. The greatest sprint coach that we know of, particularly for women, a man who's not, one who gets into hyperbole, has said he thought he could have ran a 9.69 seconds in the finals. And we know it's obvious. Kishane has said it. He didn't need to say it. We saw it. He didn't run flat out. He shut down 60 meters in, and he ran 9.77. So to answer the question that was asked of me in that meeting, yes, there may be one human being who can beat Kishane Thompson, and that's Kishane Thompson. There is no one else. I mean, I remember, if you've been following us here, I've been calling him the mythical beast, and I didn't mean it in a disrespectful way. Some of you take it as I have no idea what's going on with y'all. Look, mythical beast means something like a Bigfoot or a dragon, something that it's fantasy. It's not real. Because what I've seen this man do in the 4 or 5 races I've seen him run, it's terrifying. I mean, it's literally terrifying. So after crunching the numbers, no one else in the world is anywhere close to 9.77. Omenyala being the closest person, and he did this at altitude, and he's never been able to reproduce those times on regular surface. We know that Noah Lyles is not going to be able to do that, and if he does, I don't think he's going to be able to do it within the next month in Paris. And to beat this young man, and then he has to remain injury-free. To beat a Kishane Thompson, pressed at the Olympic Games, you have to be running something close to 9.74. Nothing else is going to beat this young man. And in fact, I'm going to be honest with you, it's probably closer to a 9.69. So no, outside of Kishane Thompson, no one can beat Kishane Thompson. But this, of course, is my 2 cents. I know it took a little time, but I had to make my points. I hope you listen to the end. I'd really love to know what you think. Is there anyone you can think of on the planet who can beat this young man? Because there is no one that I can think of. Now don't forget to hit the subscribe button, notification bell, the like button. Remember your royals, kings and queens. Bless up!